So hello guys, welcome. This video is about discharging operation on a tanker ship and what all things a duty officer do in a CCR during discharging operation. We'll also see what all checklist he fills during the discharging operation on an hourly basis. But before showing you the live demonstration, I would like to show you some basic thing on pen and paper so that when we are seeing the discharging operation, we'll have a better understanding of the operation and we won't have any doubts during the operation. So let's start. So now if I have to quickly show you by an example over here, this is for example, if you see this as a 9-port cargo tank, this is the cargo inside the tank and that's the air. So the initial LH is 1.374, pressure is 0.2. Now on the second stage, let us assume that we have started discharging. What will happen? The LH will start increasing because this gap has started increasing. So the LH has increased to 1.4. Now the pressure will go down and it will start going in vacuum. As you can see, because there is space inside the tank, because the space is created because we are discharging the cargo, so there is space being left inside the tank. If we have same amount of air, then we would start having vacuum inside the tank. Now if we continue discharging and we come to third stage, here you can see the LH has increased 2 meters. So this is the LH, now it has increased to 2 meters and the pressure is still going down. Now it has gone down to minus 3.5. Why? Because the same amount of air which was there in the first stage, the same amount of air is there inside the cargo tank till the third stage. So if we continue like this, there is space inside the cargo tank which is not being occupied by anything. So this is empty space, and because of that there is vacuum inside the tank because the cargo is being displaced but there is no air coming inside. So there is vacuum. At minus 3.5 on my particular ship, your ship might have different settings. So for example, at minus 3.5, my vacuum side of PV valve will lift up. So we have normally a PV valve over here. This is the pressure side of PV valve, and normally on the side we have vacuum side. So this valve will lift up and the air will start flowing inside. And once the air start coming inside, start decreasing, and you would have minus 3, minus 2.8, minus 2.5. So the values will start coming here. So at minus 3.5, normally my vacuum side will lift up. But if for some reason my vacuum side do not lift up and the pressure continues to go down in more vacuum, if it reaches to minus 3.8, we will have alarm in CCR. And if you have alarm in CCR, then either we have to slow down the discharging, means we have to slow down our cargo pumps, or we have to send someone to lift the PV valves manually to allow the air to come inside. Once the air flow inside this cargo tank, this pressure will start rising and it will come to minus 3.0 and minus 2.5 and something like this. Now let us go in CCR and start preparing for discharging. So this over here is a 9-port cargo tank CCR panel, and besides this panel I'm going to write down the initial LH of this cargo tank. So the one which we are seeing over here now, 1.374, this is the initial LH. That means we haven't started any pump, we are not discharging yet. So before that I'm going to just write down this LH. You can write down this LH on a piece of paper also, it depends upon you. So I'm writing down this LH besides this panel so that when we are discharging, it would be very easy for me to refer whether our change in LH is happening or not. The second thing to monitor over here is, as you can see, the pressure is 0.2. You must keep a note of this, that when we are discharging, the first thing to change before your LH would be your pressure. So the same thing we are going to do for the other tank which we are going to discharge now. So that is 9 starboard. So for 9 starboard also I'm going to write down the initial LH prior discharging. So that is 1.758. And now after this you can see that we have written down both the LHs, 9-port cargo tank and also 9 starboard cargo tank. Now after noting down the cargo tank LHs, we need to start the cargo pumps. Now most of the oil and chemical ships cargo pumps are hydraulically driven. So to maintain a hydraulic line pressure, we need to start power pack, and power packs are operated from the Framo panel. So the one which you are seeing over here, this is a Framo panel, and from here we will start our power packs. We cannot start any cargo pump before starting power pack. So for this I have made a separate video, how to start a power pack, what is a Framo panel, what are the functions or what are the buttons settings given in a Framo panel. The link is in the description box below. You can go and refer to that. So now here I'm going to start 2 power packs. So here now you can see I've started 1 power pack. Now I've started second power pack. So now 2 power packs are running. After starting the power pack, now I can start my cargo pumps. So presently on our ship we have centrifugal pumps where the maker is Framo. So normally we call them by their maker's name. So we call these pumps as Framo pumps. So most of the oil and chemical tankers you would find these Framo pumps only. So now we are going to start 9 wings cargo pumps. But before starting the cargo pump, it is a recommendation from the Framo makers that we must ensure that the discharge valve for that particular tank is shut. After you have ensured that your discharge valve is shut, only after that you start your cargo pumps. So now we are starting the cargo pumps. If you are not familiar with the system, I would recommend you to start one pump at a time. But if you are familiar with it and confident on it, then you can start 2 pumps at a time. After starting the cargo pump, there is another requirement from the Framo makers is to increase this hydraulic pressure up to 80 bar and let the pump run for a period of 1 minute, keeping the discharge valve closed. So now I've slowly increased the pump pressure up to 80 bars. My discharge valve is closed. Now I will wait for a period of 1 minute. Now after this 1 minute has passed, now I will open my 9 port discharge valve and also 9 starboard discharge valve. So this over here is an animation of how the cargo will be flowing from 9 port, and this over here is the animation how the cargo will be flowing from 9 starboard. So once we have started discharging, you can see the change in ullage. Before our ullage was 1.374, now it is 1.404 and it is slowly increasing. So the next thing which is changing over here is pressure. As you can see in the pressure screen, it has gone down to minus 3.8. Before, if you would remember, it was 0.2. Earlier in this video, I've already showed you that whenever we are discharging, your tank pressure will go down, or it will go down into vacuum, and your vacuum side of PV valve should lift up to release this vacuum. So same like 9 port, here you can see 9 starboard also. Before the ullage was 1.758 as we have written down earlier, and now the ullage has increased to 1.798. The increase in ullage shows that the cargo is being discharged from this particular tank. The second thing, same like 9 port, what we have to monitor over here is pressure. As you can see in this tank also, the pressure has gone down and it has gone to minus 3.7. This is also an indication that cargo is being discharged from that tank. So once we are confirmed that the cargo is getting discharged from both the cargo tanks, this is what a duty officer will do during his entire cargo watch with respect to cargo. He will keep an eye on the ullage of the cargo tank from which we are discharging. Like you can see before, here it was 1.758 and now the ullage has increased to 1.803, and you will see that slowly it is increasing. The second thing what we have to monitor over here is the vacuum. The vacuum of the cargo tank during discharging should not go more than the desired value, or the value at which your PV valve should lift up, because if it goes, either you have to slow down the discharging or you have to manually lift the PV valve. Now once you are confirmed that you are discharging your cargo, the shore is receiving your cargo, everything is normal on deck, there is no leak, we will come over here and we will slowly increase our pump hydraulic pressure. So with this increase in pump hydraulic pressure, the pressure at the manifold will also increase. So we will go up to the maximum agreed manifold pressure which chief officer agreed during his ship shore safety meeting. So generally on oil and chemical ships, this is up to 7 bar maximum, or we will increase our cargo pumps up to 200 bar on this panel. We generally do not go more than 200 bar. So either you will comply with your 7 bar manifold pressure if it is the maximum pressure, or maximum you will go up to 200 bar of this pump, not more than that. So in this hourly calculation sheet, I've written down all the general information over here. Now regarding the operation, we are discharging, the port is Paranagua. Now this quantity you must confirm with your chief officer. He will let you know what is the quantity to be discharged, or you can refer to the ullage report which he has made. So for us the quantity is 2316 metric ton. So I will write over here. Now again the next important thing is density. So ask your chief officer what is the density of the cargo, or again the same thing, you can refer to your ullage sheet which chief officer has made just before discharging. So for this particular cargo, now when I refer to our ullage sheet, the density is coming 1.82. In this hourly calculation sheet, what we normally write is the first column. This is the first page. So normally we write initial. Initial means what is the initial cargo on board. So we'll write this 1.374. This is the ullage which is shown over there. 0.2 is the tank pressure. So for each tank we have to write two things: ullage and below that pressure. Same for 9 starboard, ullage 1.758, and below that pressure I have written minus 0.1 because the pressure was in negative. Here we have to write down cubics volume. As you can see over here, this is volume. Always on any ship you will go, hourly calculation sheet, you will see over here that you have to write down the volume or the observed volume as they say. So here if we go in this Lodicator and we open it, and if you go to cargo data input, here you can see it is 642.37. so this is the cubics, observed cubics. Now for 9 starboard, the observed cubics is 631.29. So now we'll add these two, 64. So this is the observed, total observed volume 1273.527. So we'll write over here the observed, total observed volume 1273.527. Now total weight. For total weight, what we have to do is we have to multiply this total volume with density. The density is taken from here, what we have written initially, 1.82. So this total observed volume will multiply with density 1.82. Either you can write this, but it does not look good. So what we normally write is 2318. We can just round off. So for here I've just to show you, I've written like this. Otherwise, in a practical situation, what I would do is I would instead of writing this 2317.8, I would write it down as 2318. So the next thing is rate. What is the cargo discharge at particular hour? So now this is initial, so there is no rate. What is the, now you can see there are two things, cargo loaded or discharge, ship figure. So now we are, as this is discharging operation, we'll strike off this loaded and we'll have to write cargo discharge. Ship figure, we do not have any figure. Same, cargo loaded from shore figure, loaded or discharge. So we'll strike off this. This is discharging, so we'll see, as there is no figure over here to go. Remaining cargo, total cargo to be discharged is 2318. I will just round off this one. ETC, we do not have any ETC. Manifold pressure, we do not have. Now SF and BM. Now again what we have to do is go to this Lodicator, go to results, strength table, and here you can see this is SF frame at frame number 108, 32.3%, and BM is 76.47 at 58.7%. So what we normally write is SF, I would write down 32.3% at frame number 108. So I will write 108. Now BM, I would write out 58.5% at, so we do not write this frame in decimal, so normally I would write it as 76. Now this is draft, forward and aft. So we again we can go to Lodicator, and here we can see the draft is 7.73, 8.68. So I would write it down 7.73, 8.68. So now this is my initial hourly calculation sheet. I have written down all the figures at initially. This is just before discharging. Now once we would start discharging, we would write down. So now let at 1100, the next hour, or when we started discharging, after that at every hour we will come and check the ullage in our cargo panel. So we'll go to our cargo panel, we'll check what is the ullage and pressure, we'll note down in hourly calculation sheet, and we'll calculate the cargo on board. So now at 1100 hours, if I go back to my cargo screen or cargo panel, the ullage shown is at 9 port is 5.211, pressure is minus 3.0. I'll note it down. Same, I'll check 9 starboard. So for 9 starboard it is 5.200, pressure is minus 3.7. So both the tanks are in vacuum. So now after writing down these values here, what you have to do is you have to go to Lodicator and get the cubics for this ullage and write over here. Now there are two things. On some ships the Lodicator is online. So what I mean by online is that the feeds which you are getting in your cargo panel, the same feeds are going in your Lodicator. So every second your Lodicator is also getting updated. The ullages in the cargo tank are being updated into Lodicator also, and also in the cargo panel. So this example is for online Lodicator on a sister ship, where you can see we are discharging from this 8 wings tank. Here the ullage is 11.806. Now the ullage has changed to 11.812, and now the ullage will be changed to 11.814.
Now as this is example for online loadicator, now you can see that this is online loadicator where the cargo tank feed is going in both cargo panel also and also in loadicator. You can see these are total capacity or cubics which is changing. On the left side you can see the ullages, those are also changing.
But on some ships the loadicator is not online, it is offline. What do I mean by offline is that we have to manually go and write down our values into the loadicator. So presently on my ship this loadicator is offline. So what I will do is go to cargo tank data table. Okay, here I will manually write down my ullages 5.211, and then for 9 starboard I will write down 5.200. so I've written down both the ullages, and now here is the cubics 403.528, 412.89. so as I've told earlier that we do not need to write this decimal value, we can round off the cubics or metric ton and we can write them after rounding them off. So here I will write the rounded off value, which is 404 cubics, 413 cubics. Now I will add both of these cubics. This is 817 cubics. So now I will come over here, total volume. This is 817. Same, to get the weight in metric ton, total volume multiply by density, the density which we have taken earlier from chief officer. So this is the density, will multiply by that density. So the cargo is 1487. So this is the cargo total weight. This is cargo on board at present in metric ton. Okay, now to calculate rate, what we have to do is previous hour total cargo minus present hour total cargo, we will get the rate in metric tons. So that's why we are subtracting these two values to get the rate in metric ton. If we wanted in cubics, we would have minus these two values or subtracted these two values. So now what was the last hour cargo, total cargo on board 2318 minus what is the cargo on board at present 1487. So 831 metric ton is the rate. So this is the rate for cargo. Now cargo discharge, how we get this cargo discharges? Normally this is total cargo discharge. So I'm writing down these things besides the values is so that it simplifies my explaining, so that you can directly refer. So this is total cargo discharge, cargo discharge. So how we get the total cargo discharges? The cargo with which we came was 2318, the initial cargo before discharging, minus present cargo on board 1487. So 831 is total cargo discharge. Now here it says cargo discharge shore figure. So most of the time you would find that shore do not reply how much cargo they got, so we don't have to worry about this. To go means remaining. This is remaining cargo on board. So remaining is total cargo on board 1487. So this is cargo remaining. ETC, estimated time of completion. To calculate ETC, what we have to do is present cargo on board 1487, this is present cargo, divided by what was the rate, hourly rate 831. Supposing that this is the rate for an hour, 1 hour, so that's why 1.789. so the ETC is coming 1 hour 40 minutes. So that means 1240. So generally we do not give ETC somewhere in 1240, 1245. We can round off and we can add 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes, and we can round off the value and we can write over here. So ETC I will write over here is 1300 hours after rounding off, because when we reach the last stage of discharging, the rate would not be same, the rate would decrease, we will slow down the pump. So that's why normally we will take 10-15 minutes extra in our hand and we will write the ETC like this. So manifold pressure, what is the manifold pressure? Supposing that manifold pressure is 7 bar. Maximum stress, same thing, we have to go to loadicator, go to results, strength table, and from there we can write down this value 27.3% SF at 108. Same BM 66.3% at 66.3% at 76 frame number. We will not write 75.9, we will round off and we will write 76. Now what is the draft? Same thing, we go to loadicator and we can check over here 7.35 and 7.82. So this is the hourly calculation for 1 hour. So now I will try to calculate for next hour also to show you one more time. So again we will go back to our cargo panel and we will check what is the ullage over there. So the ullage over here is 9.141, pressure is minus 2.3. Then same thing, we will go back to our 9 starboard cargo tank panel. The ullage is 9.331. Pressure is minus 2.0. Same thing, we will go back as our load, as I've told earlier that our Lodigator is not online, means we have to manually go and feed the value. So I'll go back to my Lodigator, go to cargo, tank data table, okay, and here I will write down manually 9.141 and next 9.331. So here I'm getting the volume 159.7, 151.7. So I will round off these 160 cubics and 152 cubics. I will add these two, 160 plus 152, 312 cubics. Now to get the total cargo or total weight on board, cargo on board, multiply by density, 567.8. So we will write 568. Rate, previous hour cargo on board minus present cargo on board. So 1487 minus 568, 919. So this hour our rate is increased, 919. Cargo discharge, same as I've told earlier, this is total cargo discharge. So initial our cargo was 2318 minus present cargo on board 568. So we have till now we have discharged 1750 metric ton. We will not write down this shore value. To go means remaining on board. This is cargo. To go means remaining on board. 568 metric ton is remaining on board. Now ETC. So normally, as you can see, before our rate was 831, now our rate is 919. If, for example, if our cargo was more and if we were getting fluctuated rate, let's say for next hour we got 800, for next hour we got 755, next hour we got 890. Just for example, I'm telling, if we were fluctuating in our rates, what we would do is normally we will take an average rate. So between 800 and 900, I would take 830 or 850 as our cargo rate, and I would divide by total cargo on board, and then I would get ETC. So generally do not happen. Generally you will get a constant rate fluctuating of 40-50 metric ton maximum. But if in case if you have some fluctuating rates because of your pumps or because of some shore changeover, then what we would do is we would take an average rate of past 2-3 hours and then we will give the ETC. So here I'm taking the ETC same as 1300 hours. Pressure I'm maintaining as 7 bar. Now same for SF and BM. Go to result. 29.1% at 108 frame, then 79.3% at 142 frame number. Same now for draft, again go back to Lodigator and write down forward draft 6.68, aft draft 7.36. So this is what we do. So this is how we calculate our hourly calculations.
So the next checklist is pumping log. So same like hourly log, this pumping log is also filled at every hour. But the important thing is pumping log is only filled during discharging operations. In loading operation, we do not fill this, only it is filled in discharging operation. So how do we fill this is, here on top of this, you would find number of cargo pumps which are there on your ship. So as my ships have 20 cargo tanks and 20 cargo pumps, so we have written over here 20 cargo pumps. Below that we have pump pressure, at what pressure you are running. So how do we fill this is, here you would write down the hour, 1100, 1200, 1300, 1400 like this. So first thing we have written over here is 10:30, we have assumed that we have commenced discharging. Now at every hour after that we have to fill this. So 1100, which all pumps were running between 10:30 to 11 o'clock, which all pumps were running. As we were discharging only from 9 wings, we have written 9 wings pump. Below 9 wings we have filled this, and at what pressure. So my cargo pumps were running at 100 bar, so I have written over here 100 bar. What was the cargo rate? So if you have been following the video, you would know that the rate we got at 1100 was 831 metric ton, and this is pressure, manifold pressure. What was the manifold pressure? So here we have written 7 bar. Same at 1200, between 1100 and 1200, which all cargo pumps were running. For us, same 9 wings were running. So those were running at 100 bars each. And what was the cargo rate, same in our hourly calculation sheet. I've already showed that we got 919 metric ton, and this is manifold pressure. Now if you change over, if you switch to some other tank, this is not the present case, but if let's say for next discharging or in some other discharging, if you have changed over to 6 wings, so between 1200 to 1300 which all tanks were running, if you have changed over, then you would write the other tanks like this. It's not that you have to write only 100 bar, the actual pressure what at which the pumps were running. It can be at 200, 180 or whatever. It is just that here you have to write the actual pump pressure at which you were running your cargo pumps. That's it. And at the end you would write this completed discharging, whatever time you completed your discharging. So this is how we fill this pumping log only in discharging operation. So the next important thing is statement of facts. This statement of fact is also called as timesheet. This is to be ready at all times. So means that whatever important timings are happening, you keep noting down in your port log, and thereafter you can mention in your statement of fact. So in your statement of facts only you will write down the important timings. So normally till here these timings you can get from your maneuvering log, or as we call as bell book. The other timings, loading master, surveyor on board, tank inspection, NOR connected, hose connected, and till the time commence discharging. These timings you can get from chief officer. So normally chief officer would agree with loading master and surveyor, and he would give you these timings. Or if you are in CCR, you would keep noting down. If there are any stoppages, then you would also mention them here. So you can pause the video and you can read which all important things are written in statement of facts. And thereafter we also have this empty tank certificate. This certificate is only filled after discharging. So basically this is filled by chief officer, but if you want to learn the job, so this checklist is filled. This checklist is signed by surveyor. So what it says is that we have discharged this tank completed and it is empty. So basically for that we have this certificate. After discharging, the surveyor will go and he will visually inspect the tank, and once he confirms that the tanks are empty, he will issue this certificate. So as in this case we only discharged 9 wings, so I have written here 9 wings. If you would have discharged other cargo tanks also, you would have mentioned them. If they were empty, you would mention them over here, and then you would have shown to the cargo surveyor. So this is how we fill this empty tank certificate.
So lastly, this is the most important thing, ship show safety checklist. This is filled before discharging. Before anything, this checklist is filled by chief officer and the loading master. So in this thing you can go and refer to it, you can go and read this checklist. But for a duty officer point of view, what I have to say is, in this checklist, as you might know that this R means repetitive checks. In this checklist we have many checks to be done on, some are to be done single time and some are to be done at repetitive. As you can see over here, R, wherever you see R, that means repetitive checks. So this checklist will be already filled by chief officer, and then only duty officer has to start checking into this. So please refer this checklist before your discharging operation, so that because there will be many important things which will be noted down over here. So what, as a duty officer, what we have to do is, normally chief officer on the last page of it, you would find that the item coded R in the checklist should be rechecked at an interval of not exceeding, here chief officer would agree, normally it is 2 hours or 4 hours. So normally chief officer write 2 hours. So what does it mean is that those things which are mentioned R means which are to be checked repetitive, those things are to be checked. I will take you to the last page. Those things are to be checked not more than 2 hours. So generally it is 2 hours. So at every 2 hours, this is duty officer's responsibility to check those things which are mentioned into this checklist. So you would come over here, you would for example, let us say that at 10 o'clock this checklist was filled. This checklist was signed with chief officer and for loading master at 1000 hours. After that, every 2 hours at 1200, 1400, 1600, 1800, depends. So every 2 hours we will fill this checklist. So how would we fill this? Like for example, these are the points in the checklist which are to be repetitively checked or rechecked. So we have to verify them, and after verifying we have to tick yes, or we have to write this yes, depend upon what thing is being followed on your ship. So here example, all cargo tanks atmosphere are at positive pressure with oxygen content 8% or less. if you are a chemical tanker, you are not using inert gas, then you are not complying with this. So you just write not applicable. Same, fixed IGS, inert gas system and oxygen content recorders are working, not applicable if you are a chemical tanker ship. So that's how, if things are not applicable to your ship, you just write not applicable. The things which you are complying with it, you take yes, you check them and you mark them yes. So after that, and the last page of this checklist, you would come over here and you would write down your initials. And you have to also take initials from the shore. For normally a shore guy will be there, so you go and every 2 hours you take their signature also.
So that's it for discharging operation in a CCR. I hope this video was worthy enough of your valuable time. Thank you.